guys, we are going to learn how to do a common denominator. We have a really cool thing we're going to talk about today. It's called shopping list. We're going to do a common denominator. So let's jump in. All right. Okay, so to find the common denominator. Now, this is the same little thing that you do no matter whether you're doing regular fractions or whether you're doing rational expressions. Now, our goal is to be able to do rational expressions. But we're going to find a common denominator. And so, the first thing on our list says to factor each denominator. Now, when it comes to the polynomials, if you have trouble factoring them, then you might want to go back and research and find my factoring videos because I'm flying through the factoring. Okay, take it slow, keep practicing. I know you're still kind of new at the factoring, but just know with the videos, you can stop it and get your factoring done. I'm going to fly through it because nobody wants to sit through a 20-minute factoring video. All right, so now we're going to find the least common denominator, or common denominator as I like to call it. I just try not to, I forget to say the L sometimes. So anyway, and I have an analogy to help us learn this. It's called create a shopping list. Okay, and so let me just talk to you about a shopping list for a minute. If you're buying ingredients and you have different things that you're going to make, you're going to make sure you have enough of everything that you need to make your recipes. Okay, so you have one recipe that may call for 1 stick of butter, but you have another recipe that calls for 2 sticks of butter. And so you don't know which recipe you're going to make yet because you just don't know which one you're going to pick. You're only going to make one recipe. But because you're not sure which one you're going to pick, you're going to get 2 sticks of butter. Okay, so here we go. The shopping list. All right. So 245. We're going to factor each denominator. Now, these are numbers, and you may not know how to factor numbers, but this is going to work no matter whether you do numbers or whether you do polynomials. Okay, so I'm going to factor 245, and I'm going to have 5 goes into that. 5 goes into it 49 times, and then I'm going to keep factoring, and 577. Is that it? I think it is. Okay, now 175, I know 5 goes into it as well, and it's going to be 5 times 35. Yeah, 5 times 35, and so that's 5, and that's 5, and that's 7. Okay, so here we have the common denominator. Okay, so the common denominator, it says select the necessary factors to build each denominator. All right, so for the common denominator, if I want to build 245, I've got to get all of those. So I know I've got to buy a 5 and a 7 and another 7. But then I go to my second list and I say, what else do I need? I need all of these because they're the first one on the list. So I write all of them down. But then I come over here and say, well, what else do I need? Well, I need another 5. And that way I have enough ingredients that if I want to make a 245, I can. If I want to make a 175, I can. Now, I don't have enough ingredients to make both of them, but I don't need that. I just need the ingredients to make each one separately. So now, factor each denominator, select the factors necessary to build each denominator, and then if these guys are numbers, multiply them. So multiply them, and I get 35 times 35, which I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look it up. Or think really hard and fast. 35 times 35 is going to be 125. 1225. I looked it up. 1225. So that would be the common denominator. Right, now this works for numbers that are outside your range. It works for numbers that you know, but I wouldn't show you one for numbers that you know because you kind of know some things. But it also works for polynomials. So let's do the next one. Number 2, we've got 10x to the third and 50x to the 8. Okay, so 10, well, 10 is 2 times, 10 is 2 times 5, right? But do I need to know, do I need to do that to get the common denominator of 10 and 50? I mean, some of you know that the common denominator for 10 and 50 would be 50, or the least one would be 50, and that's what we'd want. But let's watch this, okay? So 2 times 5, but then we have x to the third. So that's x, x, and x. And now 50, well, that's 5 times 10. And I've got x to the 8. So that's x, x, x. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now my common denominator. All right, I need all of the first one. I need all of the first one. Okay, so I need all of the first one. So I've got 2 and 5 and those 3 x's. And then I come over here and say, what else do I need? Well, I've already got a 2, so I don't need that. I've got a 5, I don't need that. I've got 3 x's, I don't need that. So what do I need? I need a second 5, and I need 5 more x's. Okay, so now let's multiply this back together to see what we have. I have 5 times 5 is, I have 50 x to the 8th power. Now, some of you are thinking, now I could have done that without all that work. Go for it. It's just math. You don't have to do it my way. Y'all know how to do it a different way. Go for it. Okay? It's just math. So it's okay if we're different. So 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 10 is 50. And so my common denominator is 50. And we knew that ahead of time. And then the variables, we picked 8 of them. So that second one was the actual common denominator that I needed. Okay, and so there's a hint there. Let me give you a little hint. Take the largest power of your variables. That's a little trick. We knew the number, and then take the largest power of the variable. So now if you know the number, go for it. If you can pick out the largest power of the variable, wham, go for it. You don't have to do any of it. All right, let's look at number 3 and number 4. Quickly, I'm running out of time. All right, so we're going to factor each denominator. That's what it says. So that's going to be 3 times x plus 4. This is GCF factoring. Didn't turn out really good. And this one's going to be 2 times x plus 4. My common denominator, I take all of the first one, and then I look to see what else do I need. Well, I already have an x plus 4, so I don't need that. So I need a 2. And then I multiply the numbers together, and that's my common denominator. Number 4, I'm going to factor. So that, again, is another GCF. This one is a trinomial. And multiply to give me 45 and add to give me 14. That's going to be 9 and 5. All right. So now my common denominator, remember I take all of the first one. And then I go, what else do I need? Well, look, I already have an x plus 9, so I don't need that. So I need an x plus 5. And that's my common denominator. All right. We'll come back with this. What comes after figuring out the common denominator? Well, we have to figure out how to add. But see you on the next video.